All right. What's happening, guys? Been a while, man. You know, we've had a week off and such, and now we're back into it. So what's up, guys? I'd like to welcome you back to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday, of course. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, and we're going to jump right into this thing here in just a moment. You guys know how I do. I like to make sure a few of you guys are in here before I get it cracking. And then we'll get started, man. So first and foremost, Happy New Year to everyone, man. I hope everyone had a wonderful New Year. I hope your New Year also was safe and sound. You know, if you're here tonight, then obviously everything is okay, right? So we'll wait here just a few moments, guys. And it's funny, man, because I was in Florida this past weekend. I was down in Tampa. And, you know, I had my Steelers gear on. You know, a lot of people down there were, you know, saying go Steelers. A lot, you know, yada, yada, with some Steeler fans down there. So, you know, it was a good feeling. All right, so let's get right to it, shall we? All right, so the Pittsburgh Steelers, guys, finished the season 13-3. We definitely understand that. But, hey, you know, we got a playoff game here against the Jacksonville Jaguars, who are coming into the game 10-6. Well, I guess, you know, they'll be a little higher than that, winning the playoff game or what have you. But we got Jacksonville to face, man. And, you know, of course, we want to revenge that loss from week 5. You know, we all remember that, where the Jaguars came in there and gave us a pretty good beatdown. All right, so what I'm going to do in this particular episode, guys, I'm going to talk a little bit about, you know, what I think the Steelers need to do this go round, whether or not I think the Steelers will come out with the victory, you know, kind of cram all that into today's show, because I'm not sure whether or not I'll do a pregame, you know, Friday. I might, but, you know, since we've kind of been off a week, I figure I'd go ahead and, you know, there's nothing to talk about. Usually on Terrible Towel Tuesday, I talk about what transpired in the last game. We already did that. So normally, you know, I would do that, and then Friday I would do a keys to victory. So I figure I'll kill all of that here in one video. And then, you know, man, if I want to come back to talk about something else on Friday, maybe I will, maybe not. So let's jump right into it, man. And shout out to you guys who are already in here. I see JJ Walker's in here. What's up, man? Appreciate you coming through. Definitely appreciate all of you guys coming by and following and tuning in. So let's get into it. So here we go. Playoff time. Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, let me be very candid. Once again, some of you guys got on me about this before. And by the way, let me point out the scarf here. This is because of you guys. You'd be surprised what people want to see. I've had so many people say, hey, we like the scarf. Keep wearing the scarf. I'm like, okay, whatever you guys want, you guys get. So that's the reason for the scarf. So anyway, let's talk about Jacksonville. Now, I know you watched that game just like I did against the Buffalo Bills. Very interesting. Some very interesting things that I saw from that game, that transpired in that game, that made me feel like, okay, the Pittsburgh Steelers should be able to get the job done. Am I all the way confident? No, and we'll talk about a couple of those reasons why I'm not fully confident. But I definitely saw some things in that game that you want to keep your eye on. And Mr. Eros, I will definitely talk about the Pats and the Titans here in a moment. You know, and maybe I'll do that. Maybe on Friday I'll come back and go deeper into that, you know, as far as the matchups and things like that. So maybe that's something I'll do on Friday. But anyway, you look at the Buffalo Bills game, right? They ended up winning the game, what was it, 10-3? Now, what did I take away from that game? Blake Bortles, once again, didn't have a phenomenal outing in terms of passing. If I'm not mistaken, what was he, 86 yards passing, 85, something like that? But he rushed for 87 yards, or 88. I could be off by one, but I know he had 1 yard more rushing than he did passing. Either way, he had less than 100 yards passing. Same thing that transpired when we played the Jacksonville Jaguars the first time. Blake Bortles had 95 yards passing. Now, Leonard Fournette definitely got off. You know, he had 81 yards on the ground. Let's not forget, with about 3 minutes or so left in the game pretty much is out of reach at that point. We let him break out for a 91-yard touchdown. You take that away, you know, for the majority of the game, you hold Leonard Fournette to under 100 yards. Okay, that's also good. Why is that good? If you can limit them to less than 100 yards from Leonard Fournette, as well as less than 100 yards for Blake Bortles, that sounds like a recipe for them to lose. Now it's all going to come down to Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers offense. Now, before I move to that, let's talk about a few more things I saw in that Buffalo game. There were opportunities. There were a lot of opportunities against that defense. You know, they run cover 4 a lot. There was a lot of opportunities, man, in the seam. There was a lot of opportunities sometimes, you know, you saw on C routes and things like that. Tyrod Taylor unable to hit him. Unable to place the ball where it needs to go. There were some drops. You know, there were some things going on in that game offensively, or lack thereof, from the Buffalo Bills that caused them to lose. But the Bills had an opportunity to win the game in Jacksonville. That was very telling. You know, do they have a stout defense? Absolutely they do, speaking of Jacksonville. But what I'm saying is, we've seen that, of course, they can be beat. The Titans beat them. That's a divisional opponent. So, you know, you can't necessarily, you know, always, you know, use that as a metric, because a divisional game is a divisional game. You know, it's just the same reason why we have tough games against the Cleveland Browns. It's a divisional game. You know your opponent, et cetera, et cetera. But still, they lost 6 games this year. They're not unbeatable. Are they a solid defense? Absolutely. They got 2 great corners. I love the mentality of these guys. I'm going to talk about that a little bit as well. But, yeah, man. It's going to be interesting. Now, couple other things I noticed in that game. The Jacksonville Jaguars, if you stay consistent with it, you can run the ball on them a little bit. You know, you saw Shady McCoy able to get some things going, you know, before they kind of slowed him down and before he was limited a little bit, you know. But, you saw him break a run out on them once or twice. You know, it looks like they're also susceptible to, you know, you might be able to pop off some screens against them as well. So I saw a lot of little things that the Pittsburgh Steelers offense should be able to capitalize on. Tight end usage. I definitely saw where the tight end usage should be able to be a positive thing, rather. I'm speaking a little too fast there. But there should be some positive things happening with the tight ends against that defense. Vance McDonald should be able to eat. Wow. Shout outs, man. Shout outs to Verducci, man. I got to give him a round of applause. Salute to you, brother. My man just donated $10 to me, man. Listen, man, I really appreciate that. You guys have no idea how much myself as a YouTuber, but how much YouTubers appreciate this. First and foremost, we do this for you guys, right? And second, you know, this shows that you appreciate what I'm doing. So I always love when you do that, man. And guys, make sure you give him a shout out in the comments. I love that, man. And you know, it's not just because it's money. It's because the fact that you feel like you should donate because I'm doing something or entertaining you enough to where you're pleased with that. So that makes me feel, you know, very, very good, man. Because most of you guys, I'll give y'all a quick history lesson real quick and we'll get back to the Steelers. When I got into YouTube, man, you know, it all started with Madden, trying to get Madden to be more of a realistic game. All of a sudden, EA Sports saw that. They brought me in to be an EA game changer, which I still am. It was never about a monetary thing. But speaking with other people, you know, like your QJBs of the world and Shakedowns and Anto the Boss, for some of you guys who know these guys, some of the bigger YouTubers that I know personally, they were the ones that kind of was like, hey, man, you know, you could do this, you know, and it'd be beneficial for you and your family as well as doing what you love to do. So long story short, you know, I started taking it a little more seriously, and I'm really going to take it more seriously in 2018. You know, so it's a win-win for everyone. You know, I could do this more often, get some benefit for doing it, but also I love doing it, and I love you guys, man. And again, seeing you guys reward me with a donation, because that's all it is a reward, lets me know that I'm doing something right. So salute to all of you guys that do that. Verducci, man, shout outs to you again. All right. So back to the Steelers, man. You look at, again, Vance McDonald could eat. He could have a field day. Looking at what Vance McDonald has been able to do when he's been healthy. Particularly, I look at a team like the Ravens and how we were able to play against their defense. That's kind of how I'm measuring the Jaguars. You know what I mean? Because their defense is outstanding. They have athletes all over the field, whether it's the front line, the linebacker core, you know, speedy guys and quick. And then, you know, in the back end, they got 2 solid corners. And, you know, you have to give them credit. But you look at a team like the Ravens, a team that we play and have played often, and of course played them twice this year. That to me is somewhat of the measuring stick of what we may be able to do, against the Jaguars. So if we're able to do those type of things against the Ravens defense, I think we'll be able to do it against the Jaguars defense as well. I don't care how good your corners are, what have you. Everybody can be got in the NFL. I mean, hey, even in the loss, Antonio Brown still had 157 yards and 10 receptions. All right. Now, that's a concerning point as well. So let me start there, guys, because I'm all over the place here. So let me get some structure back here. Let's start with a couple concerns I have about the Jacksonville Jaguars and us playing them. First and foremost, Leonard Fournette. Will the Steelers be able to stop the run? Because the way I'm looking at this game, man, listen, if the Steelers stop the run, I don't think they have a chance. Shout outs to my boy Tony in the building. That's my family right there, guys. My actual family. Shout outs to Tony. But yeah, listen, here are the concerns, Tony, and then we didn't even get a chance to talk about this. Number one, can we stop the run? If the Steelers stop the run, I think the game is won. Easy. Looking at the production of Blake Bortles or lack thereof, you stop the run, I don't think the Jacksonville Jaguars have enough to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers this go round. I just don't think that's going to happen. But it's still a concern. We saw what the Ravens were able to do right out the gate without Ryan Shazier on the field. Have we toned it down a little bit and been able to put a few clamps on it? A little bit. But we have still seen some instances where we spring a leak. From time to time, we spring a leak a little bit. And it's going to be that way, man, without Shazier. It's just going to happen. Even with Shazier, we got ran on. But Tony brought up a good point as well. And I want to mention this before I forget about Shazier. Me and Tony talk all the time about the Steelers regularly. And Tony mentioned to me the other day that he heard another guy say, and this is a good point, does Ryan Shazier, are we better in some cases without Ryan Shazier? Let's frame it like this, because we all know that we are better defense with Shazier. But in terms of just stopping the run, what the guy said was Shazier is so fast that a lot of times he shoots the gap real quick. Sometimes he misses the tackle. Sometimes he shoots the wrong gap. Sometimes he takes himself out of the play, right? Where another guy that a Sean Spence or a LJ Ford or Metakevich, these guys have to rely more on their technique because they don't have that killer speed. They don't play just, throwing themselves into harm's way, like just, head first. And I don't mean that literally. I'm just saying that's the type of guy Shazier is. He's going to throw his body in there. He's going to attack fast, hit the target. He's either going to hit or miss. But because these other guys aren't able to do that, are they a little more sound? Are they a little more disciplined with their gap integrity? Will they have to rely on that this week in practice? Are they preaching that? Be a little more sound because they can't, their speed, they can't rely on their speed to compensate for mistakes. So it's possible. I don't know. I still would rather have my man Shazier out there because his speed is going to make up for a lot of deficiencies in our defense. We've seen it, screen plays or coming up and stopping a 3rd and 5 and Shazier comes up and makes the hit after a 4-yard gain. You know what I mean? Like in zone coverage, these type of things. And when he blows up the play and makes the tackle, it's a loss. So we are completely different without Shazier. But can these backup guys rely on technique and discipline and get the job done? I don't know, guys. I really don't. Our defense has been shaky this year from time to time. Has either been springing leaks in the run game or giving up deep threats. Deep shots downfield, big plays, chunk plays like Tomlin likes to call them. Little concern with stopping the run. Will we do it? I don't know. So we got to watch Leonard Fournette, okay? Here's another thing with the run game before I move on. Blake Bortles. He will take off and run on you. He took off on us in the first game to convert a huge 3rd and 9. Will he run as much as he did against Buffalo? I don't know. But what I did see out of Blake Bortles didn't look confident as a passer in that game. So if we can stop that run and force him to beat us, we're in good shape. He just doesn't look confident out there, at least to me. And that's not a biased eye. He just didn't look confident to me. I'm going to just keep it real. So that's key. Here's another concern. Antonio Brown will be back in the lineup. Some of you guys are going to say, well, why is that a concern? Let me tell you why. Antonio Brown was targeted 19 times in that first matchup. I recall this Terrible Towel Tuesday I did right after that game. I recall saying, hey, Ben threw a couple of those interceptions because he was forcing it to who? His number one target. What happens when you get flustered? Meaning you've already thrown a few interceptions. You're going to go to your security blanket. Antonio Brown is the biggest security blanket that Ben Roethlisberger has. Let's be real. It used to be Heath Miller, but even still, Antonio Brown is your guy. That's who you trust. My concern is, will Ben turn back into the Antonio Brown show? Is his mindset AB, AB, AB? The beauty of Antonio Brown not being in the lineup is Ben has spread this ball around, man. And here's another thing Tony brought up to me the other day. You know what else Ben has done that we haven't seen in years? Run for the first down. Ben is going through progressions, spreading the ball around. If it's not there, checking it down. And if that ain't there, he taking off and running. He is being a pure quarterback out there. But when AB on the field, is he going to go back to his old ways and, you know, that mentality of my guy's going to beat your guy, which you should with Antonio Brown, but you got to pick your spots. What you want to do with Antonio Brown, in my opinion, is Antonio Brown is the decoy. He going to get his. And if he's open, hit him. But we need to make them worry about Antonio Brown getting 157 yards, you know, catching in 10 receptions again. And we need to make them think they're going to try to go to AB 19 times again. And now we come with Juju and we come with Vance McDonald. And guess what? Now maybe that will get us or get one of these guys on the island with Martavis Bryant. And I don't care whether it's Bouye or Boye, however you say his name, or Jalen Ramsey. I got to give credit to Jalen Ramsey. Florida State in the building. Y'all know I'm an FSU fan. They not going to run with Martavis Bryant in a one-on-one in a streak. It ain't happening. So we need to make them think the game plan is Antonio Brown. We're going to try to force feed him. I just don't want Ben doing that. Just make them play that. Start spreading that ball around, right? Then they're going to come off of AB. Then you get AB in your one-on-one. You get your Martavis in one-on-one. You get Juju, which I'm sure is going to be a mismatch with somebody in that slot. It's going to happen. All right? Now, here's some other things we got to pay attention to. Jacksonville Jaguars had a lot of sacks as well, guys. Big Calais Campbell is a problem out there. It's a big boy. Why is he a problem? What happened with a couple of those interceptions? The ball was tipped. Calais Campbell 6'8". Okay? Malik Jackson is a problem out there. Fowler is a problem out there. They got some dogs out there. You know, their linebackers are speedy. Not big guys, but they're speedy. And then, like I said, excuse me, the corners, to me, is really, you know, secondary-wise, is the guys that you got to pay attention to. Very skillful. I love those dudes, man. I'm going to explain to y'all again why. I'm not going to forget. But I don't know if they're that great in the safety department. You know what I mean? Like, as far as these guys being shut down. I mean, Church doesn't scare anybody. I can't forget the other guy's name in the secondary. But what I'm saying is there's room to take advantage. I think Juju Smith-Schuster is going to have a field day, has the potential to, as well as Vance McDonald. And that's just how you play it. You go with your matchups. until they try to take something else away and leave AB by itself, leave Martavis by itself. Then you take your shot. Just can't be out there force feeding. Let's run the football. You know, Le'Veon Bell had 47 yards on the ground last time with only 15 attempts. And obviously, when you get down the way we did, you're going to pass the ball a lot. I get it. But stick with the run, man, because if we get that run going, guess what? Some of them dudes going to creep up. Safety's going to come in the box. Then there's your shot. So I think offensively, man, the Steelers definitely should be able to outscore the Jacksonville Jaguars. I think there will not be a repeat of the first game. However, there could be. I'm not naive to the fact that Ben could mess around, go out there and wet the bed again. It's possible. I don't think he will. But it's possible. So I don't think they stop us for getting points this time. And I don't think that they're going to outscore us based on Blake Bortles and based on the fact that if we can contain the run, I think they'll be okay. Now, here's why I like those corners. They talk a lot of trash, man. And it's not negative trash. They dogs. I love that. I love dudes that's dogs. You know what I'm saying? Walk that talk and talk it. You got to own it. Whatever you do in life, guys, quick life lesson, you got to own it. And I love the fact that Jalen Ramsey and Bouye said, look, Ben Roethlisberger said he want to play us again. Okay. You know, he going to get what he asked for. Love that. And when they asked him about Antonio Brown, it was like, yo, we both want him. But we know it's all dependent on what the coaches want us to do. I love that type of attitude. I take those dudes on my team. I would take one of those guys on the opposite corner of Joe Hayden or, you know, having them two and then Joe Hayden being a slot guy or whatever. I would love to have a Jalen Ramsey type of corner on the Steelers. You know, he's not going to make every play. They're going to get beat. But the fact is they got that tenacity. I don't see the tenacity from Artie Burns. I'm not throwing away Artie Burns. I think Artie still has the potential to be a good corner. I just think he's a little behind with technique because he's a track guy. It's year 2. I think he may come around, but if he doesn't, it is what it is. We'll have to find someone else. But I like those type of corners. Them dudes who walk that walk, you know, and talk that talk. And they confident. I love that. So we got to be careful. These dudes are very opportunistic. They're one of the tops, if not the top defense for a reason. So we got to be careful. I just think after what happened the first time, what the Steelers have on their side is revenge. You know, knowing that they played sloppy. Looking at the Bills game and seeing where the Bills had opportunities to pick the defense apart or, you know, hit spots where they needed to hit them and they couldn't convert. I think the Steelers offense is way more potent and we should be able to get it going and get the game. Let's see. What's another concern? I had 3 guys and I can't remember the next one. I'm trying to think. Oh, here's a concern. That we actually forget about Blake Bortles. My concern is we might get a little too reliant on his last performance against us and his last performance against the Bills. And we mess around and play him soft, play it passive, and then they hit us over the top or hit us down the middle. Because we've been giving up these big plays in the secondary, which is the reason, again, I got in trouble for saying this before. But this is the reason why, honestly, guys, I don't think we win the Super Bowl this year. I'm going to be 100% honest with y'all. I think we can. But I don't think we will unless we somehow clean that up. Because just think about who we would be able to face or may have the opportunity to face in the Super Bowl if we get there. Could be this little team that also they actually wear black and gold as we wear black and yellow. We call it gold, but this team wears black and gold, and that's the New Orleans Saints. The way that offense is clicking and the way Drew Brees can pass the football, we could have a problem against them, bro. I'm telling you right now. Let me tell you who else we could have a problem with if they were to get this far. The Atlanta Falcons. Julio Jones, but not just Julio. In that offense, Mohamed Sanu could be a problem. In that offense, they have 2 backs that can run the football. Again, got to shout out my Florida State boy, Devontae Freeman. I'm just saying. We better be careful. Can we win it? Yes, we can. I think we have the potential to win it. But the defense will have to get back to these next games. Because think about it. If we win 3 games, we win the Super Bowl. So this game coming up next, if we get past that one, if we get to the next round, get past that and get to the Super Bowl, that's 3 games. We will have to play solid defense in all of these games in order to get this championship. Period. With the teams that are left, we cannot have lapses where we're giving up chunk plays and deep shot. We can't do it. Because Tom Brady will take advantage of that. Drew Brees will take advantage of that. Matt Ryan could take advantage of that. So I'm just keeping it real. Again, I think we can win the Super Bowl, but I'm not confident that we will this year. I'm just being real. But let's see what happens. Outside of that, man, real quick, man, just the game plan again. Let's get our run game going a little bit. Let's mix it up. I would like to see some up-tempo. Once again, you know, we called that in the last important game that we played. You know, get some up-tempo. Spread the ball around. Get them thinking. Get them to where they can't substitute. This would be my dream scenario. I told Tony this. Let's go 3 wide. Juju, AB, Martavis. And put McDonald out there as the tight end. And then you got Big Ben. And you got Le'Veon Bell. And Le'Veon Bell is right beside Big Ben, either shotgun or pistol. And we run that formation up tempo. Come on, man. That's how you hit them. At least to get them, you know, rattle them a little bit. Come out right out the gate. First drive. 3 wide, 1 tight end, a back. Come on, man. Look at the talent right there. Do I got to say it again? AB on the outside, Martavis on the outside, Juju in the slot, Vance McDonald at tight end, and Big Ben and Le'Veon Bell in the backfield, shotgun or pistol. And we running no huddle. Let's test that defense early. And let Ben call the shots early and get a lead going. If we get a lead going, we'll be okay. I feel that way because I just don't think Blake Bortles, just looking at his performances, man, I think we can find ways to clamp him. And we just got to slow the run down. We have to contain the run. And in my opinion, not being a biased Steelers fan, but in my opinion, if the Steelers can take the run game away from Blake Bortles and Leonard Fournette or whoever else, like the Bills did, it's going to be tough for them to win the game. And it's going to be cold. And Leonard Fournette actually said early in the year he don't like playing in the cold. So this is the Steelers' job, man. Take care of business. It should be a good game. I expect it to be a semi-close game. But, you know, the Steelers could get on a hot streak and they could do like they did the Titans in that game for a 40-17. That's possible. But I don't know. I think it's going to be close. I'm looking forward to seeing the challenge. You know, us against that defense, because I respect that defense. They got some dogs over there. And I think Ben can get his redemption back. All right, so that's just what I think about that, guys. I got a little bit of time here, man. I started a little earlier, so I made sure I had time to come in here and look at some comments. So let's definitely do that real quick before we bounce. And again, man, I appreciate you guys coming through. 52 people watching, man. You guys are the best, man. Let's see here. Oh, okay, Mr. Eros. He said, what do I think about the Titans and Pats? I'm going to be brief with this because I think I will save that for Friday just to give me some more content for the weekend. Real quick, I'm just going to give you a little bit of it, and then we'll dissect it a little more as we get closer. I don't think it's going to be as one-sided as people think. I think the Titans have the potential to challenge them with physicality, with running the football. Dick LeBeau may throw some challenges at Tom Brady, but that's going to be the difference. I don't know if the Titans' offense is explosive enough to outscore the Pats, but I'm interested in seeing what Dick LeBeau throws at him because I got to shout out the Terrible Podcast here, Dave and Dave. They said, at the very least, Dick LeBeau is going to put out the blueprint. He's going to put a good plan out there so we can see what he tried and worked or didn't work. Well, in this case, we'll see what didn't work if the Patriots win, and then we can kind of see how you attack it. But that's going to be interesting. But I'm going to hold a little bit of that, man, until I actually do the video on Friday. So maybe that's what I'll do on Friday. I'll give another, account of the upcoming games and who I think will win and how they'll win it. Let's see. Benny Man said, and Happy New Year to you as well, man. Do you think we can use a similar game plan as we used against the Texans? Perhaps, but not even. Maybe as far as offense, yeah, but defensively, I think we really just, it's hard to say just focus on the run, but I think we got to go out there and look to take the run away first. If Blake Bortles is going to beat us, let him do it. But I think the game plan is take the run away. I don't think we had that concern with the Texans. Number one Steelers fan. All right, Marquise Williams, what up, brother? Let's see. Still Gunplay says Fournette has been a shell of himself. That is very true. I actually heard Deion Sanders say that as well, man. As Deion would say, he's not hitting it anymore. Early in the year, he's hitting the hole out, but now it does seem like he's waiting, dancing a little bit. So this could be interesting. Let's see what else you guys are saying. What up, Optimus? What's good with you, man? Oh, I might be. That's what I meant to say. I might be going to the game, man. I haven't decided yet. I saw some tickets that's semi-reasonable, and I might go. And it's not necessarily the ticket price, but if I go, I may, ask my father-in-law to go with me, and I'm not sure, if he wants to spend that money right now. So I would anticipate maybe, getting a ticket for him if we decide to go. I haven't decided yet, man, but I might be telling y'all on Friday that I'll be there. So we'll see. I'll let you guys know whether or not I'm going to go. Send the producer says, do you think Ben Roethlisberger will retire after this season, and do you think the Steelers should draft a QB? That's a very good question. If we win the Super Bowl, I think he might retire. And let me tell y'all why. I think I mentioned this to y'all before, but I mentioned this to Tony one day, and he was like, wow, I never thought about it that way. Real quick, Ben Roethlisberger's first 2 seasons, right? Rookie season, he takes over for Maddox, does a great job, all right? Gets to the AFC Championship, loses to the New England Patriots, right? Very next year, he comes back. He promised Jerome Bettis, we're going to win the Super Bowl, I promise you. Held true to his promise, won the bowl, okay? Last year, all right, at the tail end of his career, because let's face it, he's at the tail end. Goes to New England, loses the AFC Championship to New England. So if he comes back in this second year, back-to-back, basically getting close to the game and getting to the game and wins it, wouldn't that be a heck of a story to say his first 2 seasons and his last 2 seasons were the exact same? Wouldn't that be crazy? Getting knocked out by New England and then coming back and winning it. And in this case, we already got knocked out by New England last year and then come back and win it. That would be an incredible story. I could see the 30 for 30 already. But then again, if they win and Ben has stayed relatively healthy, he might stick around and play out the rest of that contract. So, if he retires, absolutely draft the quarterback. I don't know, because the Steelers, y'all know they don't do the free agent thing as far as big money. And anybody worth it out there, you're going to have to pay him. So, there you go. Cody Harris says, Bortles been playing bad. Should be a good game, though. Let's hope for the Titans to beat the Pats. Pray for the football gods. Yeah. And absolutely, Tony, Mike Mitchell has some deficiencies as well. We beat up Mike Mitchell a lot. And shout out to my father-in-law, Leonard, man. This is for him. He gives Mike Mitchell the blues. And it's the truth. But we have to realize that Mitchell is just not the cover safety. He's just not that. We're going to have to get a safety that got some range. If you get a chance, man, go on Twitter and look up Brian Baldinger, Baldy, as we all know him. He does a lot of breakdowns with actual footage. Go look at the clip that he did about Harrison Smith and how rangy this guy is and how smart he is. We need a guy like that at free safety, But, yeah, Mike Mitchell is what Mike Mitchell is, man. But I think, slowly but surely, he's going to get phased out. This game is like the Miami game last year. Lost to them early in the year. Jay Ajayi went for over 200 yards. In the playoffs, we sold out against the run and shut their offense down. Absolutely. I agree with that, Todd Win. And it's possible. I just don't. Without having number 50 in the middle, man, because here's another reason why Shazier would mean so much in this game. If Blake Bortles starts to run, guess what they're going to do? They're going to spy him. He ain't going nowhere with Shazier in the middle of the field spying him. So it's just so many dimensions, man, that we lose without having him. But I think that that defense can get the job done. I'm just not confident. You know, it's not impossible for us to be coming back Tuesday, whether we win or lose, and be saying, man, see, I told y'all, you know. But hopefully that doesn't happen. Omar Casey says if the Steelers are going to win, they don't need Antonio Brown because they're going to focus on him and throw Ben off his game. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I agree with that. Real Facts, what up, man? Seeing you in a minute. He said it would be so fitting for Pittsburgh to defeat the Jags and the Pats to get to the Super Bowl, redeem the most crushing loss of the season. Very well, man. I agree with that all the way. It would be great for us to go up there and get that win. Or, hey, what if what if the Titans pull it off? Then they got to come to Pittsburgh. Wouldn't that be crazy? How's the new Madden patch? Daniel, let me know. When did the patch drop? Has there been another one recently? I haven't played Madden in a little bit because I've been out of town. Rail says I'm looking for Brian or James to have a big game. Maybe James, but I think more McDonald. Marcel Darius. Thank you, Tony. I knew Tony would have my back. That's another problem we got to worry about in the middle. But imagine how much we could get them off their game if we can run the ball. See what I'm saying? All right, so y'all hear my son up there screaming. Maybe y'all can't, but he's screaming right now. Screaming in a good way. He's not crying. He's just screaming at his mom or whatever, saying he's done. He's in the bathroom. So we're about to get up out of here. Let me see what else you guys got real quick, man. Eric Walker says Mike Mitchell has 0 ball skills and playmaking ability. You know what, Eric, man? You might be right. You know, he hasn't shown us that he has any ball skills at all. And the thing that has been depressing about Mike Mitchell is he also doesn't seem to take the best angles. Like, the safety's job is to try to prevent deep shots, but then also tackling the catch. He doesn't seem to do that well. So, you know, his skills have definitely diminished, whatever skills he had. Ray Wilson said, I went to the Jags game earlier this year and to the regular season game, Tomlin's rookie year, so I'm keeping my juju at home. All right. Let's see, guys. A couple more, and then I'm going to be up out of here. Try to read somebody who haven't commented yet. Okay, Charles Stevens says, this is what we have been waiting for, so we don't turn the ball over and we should win. Sean Spence stinks, and why they went and got him, I don't know. Well, you got to look at it, Charles, man. Who else was out there? You know, you got to have bodies. You got to have somebody to rotate, and Sean Spence knows the defense. So, you know, they were in a vulnerable position. If you think about it, all year, we really haven't had a lot of depth at inside linebacker. Outside of Shazier and Williams, you going to Metakevich right there. And L.J. Fort, which I think L.J. Fort should have been ahead of Metakevich. And ironically, we're seeing that L.J. Fort is playing when we go in dime. So that's a good thing. But we were already thin in that situation. Let's see. Why is Spence playing over Metakevich? I don't know. You know what? From afar, we could all ask that question, but I'm guessing it's something the coaches are seeing. You know, Metakevich was getting gashed as well in the Cincinnati game. He was getting beat up, you know, before he got hurt. So I'm sure the coaches know something. You know, I kind of take a back position, and I just, you know, respect the coaches, and I feel like they should know a little more than what we do. But it's a good question. And yeah, I think Lee Sharp just answered that. He is slow. He is slow. And yeah, I like Ford as well. All right, so that's going to do it, man. Oh, last comment, I will read another one here from Ryan. He says, I think Ramsey and Bouye will do well against AB and 10. I think Juju and 89 get going early, work in the middle, and that will open things up for AB as the game goes on. That would be lovely. And also, if we can open the game up by running the football, let's flip the script. Let's let Le'Veon Bell go for over 100 yards on them, and it's a whole different ball game. So we'll see. The line is going to have to be Trump tight because Calais is coming and the rest of those guys. So all in all, I think we'll be able to get it done, and we'll rehash a little bit of this as well on Friday, and we'll also talk about what the Pats, and Titans game looks like, and maybe we'll talk about the other games as well, the NFC games, because there's going to be some good ones. All right, so that's going to do it, man. Again, I love you guys, man. I appreciate you guys coming through. There you have it. That's another edition of Terrible Towel Tuesday. But don't forget, man, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Make sure you ring that bell, man. Cut them notifications on so you know new videos are coming. And I promise it'll never hurt you to hit the like button. And for you guys that know me for gaming, I got something special for you guys tonight. Not really special, but I will be returning back to streaming tonight. Probably, I want to say roughly 8 p.m., 8:30-ish. But I'm going to get back on my streams, guys, and we'll get a new schedule going now. The football season is winding down, so I might start including Sundays. So we're going to definitely stream tonight with plans on streaming tomorrow as well. So I'll see you guys in about an hour or two in that regard. But for you Steelers fans, I'll catch you guys this coming Friday, where we'll do, again, Keys to Victory, and we'll talk about the upcoming playoff games. All right, so let me go ahead and get out of here. Appreciate you guys, man. Love all the following and appreciate the love. All right, check you guys later. Y'all be good. Here we go, Steelers. Peace.